Hi, I'm Sam.
And I'm Max.
And this is Movie Nostalgia, where we give you an honest review of the movies we've meddled with so mischievously over at Maybe Movies.
And on this episode, we are joining the Mile High... No, we're not joining the Mile High Club.
No, we're not.
But we are soaring to new heights with The Horror at 37,000 Feet. This is a 1973 CBS TV movie starring a wonderful cast featuring Chuck Connors, William Shatner, Roy Thinnis, Buddy Ebsen, Paul Winfield, a deliciously Machiavellian performance by Tammy Grimes, also featuring Lynn Loring, and a number of others, including France Nguyen, which is the model.
Oh, right, of course.
Which I kind of mentioned because I know when we were watching the film and you were saying about Paul Winfield, he's always that guy, and that you were talking about him in, what was it? Not Animal House, was it? 70s film?
Oh, no, Revenge of the Nerds.
Revenge of the Nerds.
Yes, sorry.
Okay, yeah.
Took me a moment. Sorry, folks.
It's interesting. One of the things this film is known for is the number of Star Trek alumni that are in this. Obviously, Shatner needs no introduction.
Of course.
But France Nguyen, so the lady who plays the model in this, she's in the original series in the episode Elan of Troilus, or Troyes. You know, the one where they have to escort the woman to... She's marrying the prince of a neighbouring system to avert a war. And she's really kind of quite privileged and demanding, and she needs a man's man to put her, to teach her humility.
Do you mean a man's Kirk?
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
So she's in this. But also,
I know what you mean.
But Paul Winfield is something of a... not as bad as Jeffrey Combs, but he's Captain Tyrell in the best Star Trek movie.
Oh, right.
Yeah, in Wrath of Khan.
Ah.
Yeah, he's Chekhov's new captain at the start of the film.
Oh, my goodness.
But he's...
Of course he is, yes.
But he's also the alien captain in the Next Generation episode Darmok as well.
Darmok and Jalad at Tanagra.
Darmok
and Jalad at Tanagra.
Yes!
Yeah.
I knew his voice.
Yes, that is the voice that did it. It was like, hang on, I know that. But yes, bit of a weird one for us to have done on Maybe Movies, being a TV movie as opposed to a movie. This is a childhood favourite. Well, I'd say a childhood favourite. I mean, certainly for me, I saw this when it passed, obviously here in the UK, in the early 80s. Would have been about 81, maybe 80, 81, so I was about 6 or 7. And as far as I can remember, so when we were quite young, it would be after dinner, my brother and I would be expected to go upstairs and go and play while Mum and Dad watched TV.
Yeah.
And then we'd come down to say goodnight. And if we'd been really good and really quiet and they hadn't heard us, then we may get to sit down and watch a bit of whatever they were watching.
Oh, I see.
And it was this. And I watched maybe 15 minutes of it, and then Mum said, yep, off you go. It got to the bit where there was... I remember the bit with the dog... and all the cold and stuff, and when you get the start of the banging underneath the floor, and Mum was like, no, that's it, go to bed, and didn't sleep for about 4 days. Just had nightmares. It stuck with me, and it wasn't until, I would say, a good 20, 25 years later, that even though I could know, because I didn't even know what the film was called, so it wasn't until I sort of tracked it down, to be honest, it wasn't until the miracle of YouTube...
Indeed, the miracle of YouTube is amazing.
Yes, that I managed to actually finally get to sit down and watch it in its entirety, and I was just like, yeah. Anyway, we'll come on to that in a moment. But what about yourself? Huh?
Well, you see, that's the funny thing. I mean, when I go back to when I was that young, my sense of time gets a bit wobbly.
Wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey.
I'm pretty sure I only saw it the once, which means I'm pretty sure I saw it the time you saw it.
I was just thinking it must have been about the same time.
I would have been about 8. It came on early-ish in the evening. I started watching it, and then my nanny and granddad were like, no, you have to go to bed now. And I was like, no, please, 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 I need to know what happens. What happens? Do the druids win? And I complained and complained and complained. And eventually I think my mum gave in and overrode my grandparents, even though we were staying over at theirs that evening, which I don't think my nanny was too happy about. But moving on, it had an effect on me, definitely. We were talking about it early on. I don't know if there is another version of this film, but what I remember was more impressive than what we got to watch when we came back to watch it again. There were more special effects. I remember seeing the druids with these huge cloaks and the huge hoods all around their faces. You could never see their eyes or their faces. It was just hooded cloaks and
just the cowl and
the cowl. But they had this sparkling iridescence to their cloaks, like their cloaks were frozen as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember it so clearly as being a part of this movie, but that's not quite what happens.
Well, then again, that's kind of the magic of the best special effects engine of all, and that's a child's imagination, isn't it?
Oh yes, a joy to behold when used properly.
Yeah,
yes.
But thankfully, it was a long time after this before I ever took my first flight. Because I would have shit myself. I really would have done.
I'd already flown once, so I wasn't.
Yeah, it wasn't a long.
I wasn't quite that scared of it. But the idea of being locked in a cabin with something nefarious or supernatural was still
yeah. Xadrum is more than just curious content on YouTube. We're also a small publishing house with books covering a range of genres from 1940s pulp adventure to children's novels and even a touch of the macabre for those who like their literature on the dark side. Our titles are available in both paperback and ebook formats. Ebooks are available on Amazon, but physical copies can only be bought exclusively through our website at xadrum.com. Jeff's got enough cash as it is, so why not help us little guys grow and thrive? Links can be found in our banner and in the description to all of our videos, and we look forward to helping you indulge your itch for escapism. Well, I think it is your turn, sir, to give us a brief synopsis.
It's going to be a brief synopsis. So this is the story of an erstwhile flight from
Heathrow.
Thank you. Heathrow to New York.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. The people that are on it, it's a very late night flight with minimal crew and passengers. But it does happen to be carrying portions of an old ancient abbey from England.
The abbey is a receptacle for powers much older than the Catholic Church, shall we say.
That would be the way to put it. Thank you,
yes,
sir.
And they're none too plussed about being moved from their ancestral home.
Like, when it comes to things like cinematography and stuff like that, there's not a lot we can say. This is a made-for-TV movie in the 1970s. There wasn't a lot of imagination when it came to cinematography. So it's not beautiful in the modern, artistic, cinematic sense. But it's a very engaging story, and I think that's where you should focus your attention.
Absolutely, yeah. The story's engaging. The fact that the entire cast buy into this and they're all playing this straight, nobody is playing it for laughs.
Nobody at all.
No, they really take it seriously. And it's interesting as well, because, again, I remember being so terrified of it as a kid, and then coming back and watching it as an adult. There is a lot to unpack.
Philosophically.
Yeah, what they pack into an hour and 13 minutes.
Especially with Shatner's character.
Yes, absolutely. And there's even that nice dichotomy between faith and science. Mm-hmm. The man of science, the doctor with Paul Winfield, and him being the man of faith.
Yeah, I didn't think of that.
There's some wonderful lines in it as well.
But it will amuse me to think of all of you back here worrying about your lives as though they were of some importance.
Which, again, as a kid would have gone over my head, but now I'm like, damn, man, that's deep.
Yeah, I know, there was some deep stuff, especially to do with the nature of faith and doubt, and whether doubt matters in faith when confronted with evil. Oh, yeah. Yeah, when confronted with evil. Yeah. Does doubt matter?
It also makes me think of that line now as well, now we're talking about it, from, and I'll probably put it up here for you guys at home, but from Dusk Till Dawn. Where Harvey Keitel says, I don't care whether you're a preacher,
priest, a nun, a rabbi, or a Buddhist monk. Many, many times during your life, you'll look at your reflection in the mirror and ask yourself, am I a fool?
Yes. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yes, there is relevance and a context and a link. Yes, I see what you're saying.
For something like this, as you say, I mean, it's kind of got forgotten, obviously, because, again, as we say, TV movie from the 70s, but, I mean, when it came out, I couldn't find anything about budget or anything like that, but I did find out that it was syndicated, it was on CBS, and it was ranked number 6 in the programming for the week that it came out. I'm
not surprised. It was good. It was a little bit scary, but it was, like you say, it was thought-provoking.
Yeah, and again, as something different in terms of those ideas of, like any good horror, of isolation. Mm-hmm. You know, trapping people on a plane at 37,000 feet. Again, which obviously gives echoes to the Twilight Zone episode, for which Shatner is also known. Terror at 30,000 feet.
There's a man out there. What? Look, he's crawling on...
Which we cannot ignore for the life of us.
No, little things like that. It's definitely worth a look. If you've never seen this, then do check it out. If you want your kids to grow up to be horror fans, show them this.
It's very PG-13. Yeah. Well, no, it's not even. It's almost G. Almost
yes.
G.
Yeah. I mean, I was thinking as well, again, this is one of those films that if you want to remake something, remake this.
Oh, yeah, that would...
And do you know who I'd want to see doing it?
Go on, then.
I reckon Ty West could do an amazing job of this.
What, X?
Pearl,
yep,
House of the Devil.
He's right. I'd give that a go. Yeah, especially I'd give that a go. I'd buy that for $1.
I'd buy that for $1.
Especially because Ty West also, because if you did a period and set it in the 70s, he's got a real eye for capturing the zeitgeist of a particular decade.
Yes, he does. He does.
Just on a slight tangent, as a perfect example of that,
Just a tiny bit.
The first time I sat down to watch House of the Devil, I was convinced for the first 10 minutes that this was an 80s film. It was only when I looked it up and found it was made in 2009... But it plays, he gets the right colour grading right on the cameras and everything, So, yeah, I reckon he could do a good job with this. So if you're watching and you need some cast, we're good for it.
Give us a try.
Yeah, again, it was a wonderful one to do. It certainly was one that I always wanted to include in some way that we could on the show, because I had such strong memories of it, even though I only saw like 15 minutes of it when I was a kid.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, as soon as Max mentioned the concept and reminded me of the name of the film, I was like, oh, no, I saw that, I remember that. No, of course we must do this. I mean, it's easy.
It's fun. It's easy
to dismiss made-for-TV movies, because they can be very cheap. They can be very much by the numbers and by the book.
And it's more of a thing in America, isn't it? They're very kind of Hallmark channel, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But this isn't at all.
But the simple truth is, every once in a while, somebody, whether they're a screenwriter, a director, or a cinematographer, someone comes along and makes something interesting. And I think this is one of those examples.
Absolutely. So for me, I am giving it the 2.
Giving it the 2?
I'm giving it the 2. It has such a place in my heart. It has such a place in my memory. Coming back and watching it now and again, and the things it has to say about the nature of society, and about how sometimes we're only one good scare away from the primeval, essentially. I think those are the things that are quite fundamental, and it does them very well, so I'm giving it 2.
Okay, well, I'm going to give it 1.5. I'm going to give it a solid 1, It's a great example, especially when you consider it's a made-for-TV movie. But more importantly, it's an interesting example of the quasi-satanic panic that was going on in the 1970s. There are a lot of witchy ones, there are a lot of Ouija board ones. This is its own little beast and is worth it just for that.
Definitely.
However, I'm only going to give it a half as a product, because I think I'd give it 2 if someone remade it. Like Max said, Ty West, somebody like that, give it another go. We could easily turn this into a 5 thumbs up.
Absolutely. But as we are up here, what are we going to do about these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane?
I don't motherfucking know.
Well, you'll have to come back next time and find out. Until then, as always, look after yourselves, look after one another, and take care.
As always, guys, DTFN.